Hello students, you're welcome to today's video. My name is Adebanke and I'll be taking you through JAMB Biology questions. So let's get started. Question 1. A tissue is composed of a group of A. Similar cells, B. Tissues, C. System, D. Related organs. So it's simple. Let's take a look at the level of organization. So we have from cell to tissue to system, then to organism. Alright, so this is the level of organization. We have from cell, which is the basic unit of life, to tissue, to system, to organism. So taking a look at the question, a tissue is composed of a group of, from this illustration, we can see that a tissue is composed of a group of cells, right? So let's look through the options again. We have A. Similar cells, B. Tissue, C. System, D. Related organs. So the correct answer here is similar cells. Question 2. Alright, so the population of different organisms that exist together in a habitat is called A. Biomes, B. Biosphere, C. Community, D. Ecology. So the question is simply asking what's the population of different organisms in a particular area. What are they called? For instance, you have inside water, you have different organisms inside water. You can find insects inside water. Inside that same water, you can find fish, you can find other organisms like toad or frog. So what does those organisms, what can we call them? As in the different organisms in that particular habitat, what is it called? That's what the question is really asking of. So A. Biomes, B. Biosphere, C. Community, D. Ecology. So the correct answer here is community. Question 3. Question 3 says, which of the following serves as the brain box in man? So which of the following serve as the brain box in man? So what houses, what protects the brain box? That's what the question simply means. So A. Skeleton, B. Skull, C. Head, D. Spinal column. So the correct answer is skull. Skull serves as a protective layer for the brain. Question 4. Which organ removes the largest amount of excess water from the body? Which of these organs helps to regulate water to ensure that the amount of water in the body is not too much, and some of the water come out in form of urine, they come out as waste. So which organ does that? From that illustration that I gave, you can easily relate that that's the function of a kidney. So option A says liver, B lung, C kidney, D skin. So the correct answer here is kidney, option C. Question 5. A group of organisms of the same kind inhabiting the same environment is called, you have a group of organisms of the same kind, of the same species that live in a particular environment. What are they called? They are known as A. Let's look at the option. A. Ecosystem, B. Habitat, C. Population, D. Species. From this option, the correct answer is population. When we have group of the same organism that live in a particular environment, we call them those group of organisms are referred to as population. So option C is the correct answer here. Question 6. The light
Get the cheapest science materials from allschoollabs.com.
sensitive cells in the human eye is called the A. Choroid, B. Sclerotic layer, C. Retina, D. Cones. So the part of eye that is light sensitive, and this part of eye helps to control the amount of light that enters the eye. They consist of photoreceptors, that's light receptors, but the main function of this particular part of the eye is that it helps to regulate, to control the amount of light that enters the eye, and that is the function of the retina. So option C, retina, is the correct answer. Hope you are following and you are enjoying the video. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and also share. All right, so let's move on to the next question, and that is question 7. The question 7 says the earliest form of life in animal kingdom is the A. Apes, B. Amphibian, C. The Pisces, D. Reptilia. So the correct answer here is Pisces. Why? Because life was reported. It was reported that evolution, life evolves from water organisms, from water. Life came from water. So, and looking at this option, the organism that mainly reside in water here is Pisces. For instance, the jellyfish. All of the other ones, they are not aquatic, mainly aquatic organisms. For amphibian now, they are both aquatic and also terrestrial. But for Pisces, they are mainly aquatic. So that's why we can say Pisces is the correct answer here. Question 8. Which of the following disease is not sexually transmitted? Which of these diseases here and cannot be transmitted through sexual intercourse? So we have A. Gonorrhea, B. Herpes, C. Influenza, D. Syphilis. So the only disease here that cannot be transmitted through sexual intercourse is influenza. Why? Because it's mainly transmitted through droplets of when someone calls and there is splash, there's droplets, or through sneezing. So this is a viral disease, influenza, and it can only be transferred through coughing or sneezing, not through sexual intercourse. So that makes option C the correct answer. Question 9. Which of the following is not a monocotyledonous seed? Or A, we have cowpea, B, maize, C, millet, D, wheat. So what is a monocotyledonous seed? They are often referred to as monocots. That's mono from its name, means one. So they have one cotyledon. And another characteristics of monocots is that they have narrow leaves. So that one is relatable. So looking at these options now, we have wheat, millet, and maize. If you look at their leaves, they are like narrow, they are needle-like. So unlike cowpea that have broad leaves, so cowpea is not a monocotyledonous seed. So option A is the correct answer. Question 10. The lowest unit of classification is A, class, B, genus, C, phylum, and species. When we look at the order of classification, we have from species. So I'm starting from the lowest. So let's follow through. We have from species to genus to family to order to class to phylum, then to kingdom. So basically we have 7 of them. So we have from species to genus to family to order to class, phylum, and kingdom. So the lowest unit of classification here, so like I said, I started from the least from the lowest. So we can say that species is the lowest unit here. So that means option D is the correct answer. The next question. So the next question, which of the following is an example of a microorganism in action as a disease vector? So the question is asking that which organism harbors disease, like they are carrier of disease, and this same organism transmits disease from person to person, right? So for A, we have fungi decomposing dead plant material. You see that this is not looking like it's carrying a parasite or is a disease vector. It's not looking like it. So for B, mosquito transmitting malaria. C, bacteria causing food poisoning. D, algae producing oxygen through photosynthesis. So looking at the question again, we see that it's simply asking that which of the following is an example of microorganism in action as a disease. That means this organism transmits disease from person to person. So from these options, we can see that mosquito transmitting malaria. Option B is the correct answer. Why? Because mosquito, they are disease vector. They, especially the female mosquito, it transmits malaria from person to person. When they pierce the skin, they transmit the parasites that causes malaria from person to person. So the correct answer here is option B. Question 12. Which of the following is a characteristic of cells related to irritability? Irritability is one of the characteristics of living organism, and it simply means ability to be sensitive, ability to respond to stimuli, to be responsive. That's what irritability means. So from the option, we have A, ability to respond to stimuli, ability to synthesize proteins, C, ability to generate energy, D, ability to replicate DNA. So we can say that let's look at the question again. Which of the following is a characteristic of cells related to irritability? So from what I explained earlier, as irritability means to be responsive, to respond to stimuli. All right, so the correct answer here is ability to respond to stimuli. The correct answer is option A. Question 13. The membrane around the vacuole is known as. What does a vacuole mean? A vacuole means serve as a store. Is mainly for storage in cells. So there's a membrane that surrounds the vacuole, and that membrane is known as the tonoplast. So from this, to answer this question, we have option A, we have helioplast, B, amyloplast, C, tonoplast, D, cytoplast. So the correct answer here is tonoplast. Question 14. Which of the following is evidence of evolution? When we say evolution, that's things that changes, there's a change over time. So that's what evolution simply means. So we have option A, all of the above. So what is the all of the above? We have similarities in embryonic development. All right, there are similarities in the offspring development. We have fossils of extinct organisms. So we also have homologous structures in different species, whereby different species, different organisms, they have body parts that are similar, but they are used for different function, or they serve different function or purpose. For instance, you have the arm in human, and we have the wing in birds. All right, they look similar, right, but they serve this different function. So All of these that are listed here, they are evidence that okay, things evolve over time, things change over time in organism. Alright, so that is why option A, all of the above, is the correct answer here. For question 15, which of the following is an example of an adaptation for survival in social insects? We have option A, migration to warmer climates. Option B, production of venom for defense. Option C, formation of complex caste system. Option D, hibernation through winter months. So the question, let's go back to the question again. So which of the following is an example of adaptation? Adaptation means the ability to, to survive maybe harsh condition or changes that could naturally kill organism. Question 15. Which of the following is an
Run quick tests and analysis. Visit analysis.africa.
example of an adaptation for survival in social insects? So what are social insects? They are, for instance, bees, termites. So how do these insects survive? How do they survive during hunger, harsh condition? How are they able to adapt for survival? So we have A, migration to warmer climates. B, production of venom for defense. C, formation of complex caste system. D, hibernation during winter months. For insects like bees, like termites, social insects, so they form specialized groups where they have different insects with their specialized roles. So they form specialized groups where each of them carry their specific functions. So that's how the adaptation mechanism of social insects, that's how they do. So, and the correct answer relating to that here is formation of complex caste system. That means there's a system, they form specialized group, that's the caste. So they have termites, we see they have the queen, they have the soldier, they have the workers. So that is how they adapt, all right, for survival. So the correct answer here is option C, formation of complex caste systems. Question 16. Which of the following is not a part of the alimentary canal? What is an alimentary canal? That's the digestive system, right? So we have, when you take in food, how is the food digested? From the mouth, it goes to the esophagus, then to the stomach, where necessary enzymes act on the food. Then it goes to the small intestine. From the small intestine, it goes to the large intestine, then to the anus, which waste can be passed out. So which of these here is not a part of the alimentary canal? So from what I've listed earlier, the only organ here that is not part of the alimentary canal is the liver. So option C is the correct answer. Question 17. Which of the following is the characteristics of the feature of kingdom Plantae? That means which is a characteristics of plants generally. That's what kingdom Plantae means, the plants. So we have A, presence of chloroplasts. Yes, plants, they have chloroplasts in them. So we have B, that's that carries the green pigment, the chlorophyll. Then we have B, ability to perform photosynthesis. So because this is talking about describing plants generally, so there are some plants that they don't photosynthesize, or they don't do that because it's talking about plants generally. So there are some plants that don't perform photosynthesis. So we have option C, lack of cell walls. Plants do have cell walls. Then we have option D, heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So plants operate autotrophic, that is, they manufacture their own food, autotrophic mode of nutrition. So having explained all this, we can say that the only option that is correct here is the presence of chloroplast, that green pigment plants. Right. Okay, so question 18. A biome characterized by hot summer, warm winter, and treeless vegetation is A. Steep grassland, B. Temperate desert, C. Temperate desert, C. Savannah grassland, D. Tropical desert. So from this question says a biome that is characterized by hot, the place is hot, is dry, and there are treeless vegetation. So the correct answer here is savanna. Savanna grassland are areas that are usually hot, they are dry. Alright, so the correct answer here is option C, savanna grassland. For question 19, which of the following is an example of physiological variation in organism? So what are physiological variation in organism? For instance, like physiology, that's body parts performing function. For example, like the heart pumping blood. So that is what's like a physiological physiology. Let me just put it that way, physiology means. So which of the following is an example of physiological variation in organism? A variation in blood pressure among individuals, B, variation in beak shape among fishes, C, differences in fur color in rabbits, D, variation in leaf shape in plants. So from this option, we are not looking at the morphological parts, that's the body, which this and this, the shape of the body. We are not looking at that. We are not looking at the color of the body. So what's our main focus here is the physiology, the physiological parts of the body, the organ, the different parts that do that perform function, a particular function. So here we can see that variation from the example I cited earlier, that's heart pumping blood, that's like a physiological action there. So we can see that A, variation in blood pressure among individuals is the correct answer to this question. So question 20, the major building block of organism is, we have A, nitrogen, B, carbon, C, water, D, sulfur. So looking at all these options, the major building block of an organism is carbon. Carbon, it's part of carbohydrates. For instance, the glucose, the 6,6H12. If you look at the glucose, 6,6H12O6, right, which is glucose, and which is the simplest form of a carbohydrate. And we know that this glucose is needed for energy, for survival in living organism. So that makes, and from the composition here, we can see that carbon is needed in this composition. So that makes option B, carbon, the correct answer. I hope you are following and enjoying the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your friends. Alright, so let's look at the next question. Question 21. The process by which plants lose water to the atmosphere is A, transpiration, B, guttation, C, translocation, D, evaporation. Plants also loses water, especially during dry season, and they have a small hole in the leaves. Let's say this is the plant leaf, something like this. So something like this. So there are small they are very tiny pores at the leaf side. Tiny pores. These tiny pores are known as stomata. The tiny pores are known as stomata. So these tiny pores is like the area whereby plants loses water to their environment, and that process is known as transpiration. So that means option A is the correct answer. Question 22. use the diagram. So look at the diagram above to answer the question that follows. The organism belongs to kingdom. So what this question is asking us from this diagram, diagram represents an organism, and with that organism, if you are familiar with this diagram, you should know that this diagram represents a virus. Okay, so we've already sorted the name of organism. You know that is virus. So the virus organism belongs to. So the virus organism belongs to which of this kingdom? You know that virus, they do not have true nucleus. They are prokaryotes. So the virus organism belongs to the Monera. The kingdom Monera, they don't have true nucleus. So that is why option A is the correct answer here. Question 23. The formation of cilia and flagella in living cells is carried out with the help of. When we say cilia and flagella, they are mainly used for movement in organisms. So the formation of cilia and flagella in living cells is carried out with the help of, from this option here, let's go through them one after the other. We have A, ribosome, B, lysosome, C, centrome, D, plastic. So the correct answer here is central. Central helps in the formation of cilia and flagella in organisms. So that is why option C here is the correct answer. Question 24. The food nutrient with the highest energy level is A, protein, B, carbohydrates, C, lipid, D, minerals. So which of these classes of food has the highest energy level? For instance, let's take it one after the other. So which one has the highest calorie? That is what the question simply means. So for protein, the energy value for protein is 4 kilocal per gram. Also the same thing for carbohydrate, 4 kilocal. Then for lipid, we have 9 kilocal per gram. Then for minerals, they do not contain any calorie, so it's 0 kilocal. So just looking at this now, so we can see that lipid, which is also known as fat, has the highest energy value. All right, so it's even more than double of carbohydrates and protein. But when we are talking about immediate energy for organism, we go for carbohydrates. But for this option, is asking which one has the highest energy value. So that is lipid. Option C is the correct answer here. Question 25. Bilateral symmetry, ability to be able to divide into two equal halves. Then cylindrical bodies, the cylindrical shape form. Then double openings, that's there's opening. Let's say we have something like this in cylindrical form. Then let's say this is bilateral symmetry, and then double openings, that means there's opening here and there's opening here. So what does this signify? It looks mainly like worm, something like worm. If you look at it, it has like worm-like shape. So all right, so let's look at this is the mouth. Let's say this is the mouth, this is the anus. So this is the bilateral symmetry, and this is the cylindrical body. So this look more or less like a worm. So let's say, so bilateral symmetry, cylindrical bodies, and double openings are characteristic features of A, nematode, B, hydra, C, protozoa, D, protist. So from this, we already said it looks like a worm, and worm belongs to which of this group here? That is the nematode. For example, the roundworm belongs to this group, nematode. So that means option A is the correct answer. Question 26. Question 26 here. Mouth parts adapted for piercing and sucking is found in A. Housefly, B. Grasshopper, C. Mosquito, D. Cockroach. So this question is very straightforward. Which organism here has a needle-like mouth, can pierce and suck blood? So which organism here is mainly mosquito? They have, especially the female mosquito, they have needle-like mouth for piercing into the skin of people to suck blood. All right, and during that process they release disease known as malaria. All right, so the correct answer here is mosquito. Mosquito has the mouth part adapted for piercing and sucking. Question 27. The web feet of frogs and toad is basically formed. If you notice the web feet of frog and toad, so what is the main function? So that web feet enables them to swim, to navigate in water. So that is the function of that web feet. So the correct answer here is swimming. Option C. Question 28. The part of the inner ear, we are looking at the part of the ear that is responsible for hearing is A. We have the circulars, the cochlear, the utriculars, and the ampulla. So the one that is particular, that helps in hearing, responsible for hearing, is cochlear. So these other parts, they are mainly for balance, for involves in balance of the hair. But for the cochlear, is mainly for hearing. It's a part of the hair that is responsible for hearing. So option B here is the correct answer. Question 29. The function of the red head in male Agama lizard is, so they are asking if you are familiar with Agama lizard. You see that they have red head. So what is the function of that red head? That red head is like passing a signal to the opposite sex for for sexual intimacy. So that is what that red color part of the head, that's like the function of that red part of the head. So let's see. Option A, conceal and camouflage the animal from predators. B, scare other males from the territory. C, attract female lizard for mating purpose. D, warn predators of the distastefulness of the animal. So from what I explained earlier, the red color part of the head is just to send a signal to attract the opposite sex, so for mating. All right, so option C here is the correct answer. Attract female lizard for mating purposes. Option C. So the final question here. Seed plants are divided into, we have the tracheophytes and ferns, B, angiosperms and gymnosperms, C, monocotyledons and dicotyledons, D, talophytes and bryophytes. So the seed plant is mainly divided into we have the flowering plant and the non-flowering plant. So which is angiosperm and gymnosperm. So that is the correct answer, option B. So I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. If you have any questions or any topic you want us to treat, you want us to answer, or you want us to take in our next video, you can drop those questions, those topics in the comment section. All right, so, and don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your friend. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the video you just watched. To see more content as that, preparing you for your upcoming exam, make sure to smash the subscribe button and turn on notification. Also, remember that you can use the comment section to send us your questions or your inquiries, and we are happy to take them. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.